Have you noticed something strange about modern life? The harder people work, the more they seem to owe. A student starts adult life with debt. A worker waits every month for salary just to pay bills. A family buys a house they will never truly own for 30 years. A man buys things he doesn't need, with money he doesn't have, to impress people who don't care. And somehow, this became normal. Nobody asks why the entire system depends on people staying in debt. Because debt is no longer just money. It is control. The moment you owe someone something, your freedom starts shrinking. You cannot leave the toxic job. You cannot take risks. You cannot speak freely. You cannot rest. Every month becomes survival. And the terrifying part is this. The world does not want financially free people. It wants obedient consumers. People who keep borrowing. People who keep paying. People who remain trapped inside invisible chains their entire lives. Loans are sold like dreams. Education loan for your future. Car loan for your status. Home loan for your identity. Credit card for your happiness. But behind every shiny advertisement, there is a silent contract. Your future, in exchange for temporary comfort. And millions signed it without understanding the cost. Because nobody teaches you the psychology of debt. Nobody teaches you that once a system profits from your struggle, it quietly wants your struggle to continue. This video is not about hating money. It is about understanding why modern society pushes people toward endless dependency, and why escaping debt may be one of the greatest forms of freedom left in this world. The trap. A poor man borrows money because he is desperate. A middle-class man borrows money because he wants comfort. A rich man borrows money because he understands the system. But only one of them usually ends up trapped forever. Look around carefully. Almost every adult is paying for the past. EMIs, credit cards, interest, subscriptions, loans. People are no longer working for dreams. They are working to avoid collapse. A university student takes a massive loan, believing education guarantees success, then spends 10 years repaying it while struggling to survive. A young employee buys an expensive bike to feel successful, then becomes terrified of losing his job because the EMI is waiting every month. A family buys a bigger house than they can afford because society worships appearances. Then both parents spend decades stressed, exhausted, emotionally absent from their children. Debt changes human behavior. The moment survival depends on monthly payments, freedom disappears silently. A man with no debt can walk away from exploitation. A man buried in debt cannot. That is why debt creates obedient populations, because fear is powerful. Fear of missing payments, fear of losing status, fear of losing possessions, fear of becoming unsuccessful. The system understands human insecurity better than humans understand themselves. Advertisements do not sell products anymore. They sell identity. You are told a luxury car means respect. A bigger phone means importance. A branded lifestyle means success. So people borrow money to buy an image, while internally becoming more anxious, insecure, and financially weak. And social media made this even worse. Now people compare their real lives to fake online lifestyles every single day. Someone sees influencers traveling, shopping, living perfectly curated lives. And suddenly, their normal existence feels inadequate. So they spend more, borrow more, consume more. Not because they need it, but because they are psychologically manipulated into feeling left behind. Modern debt is emotional. It attacks loneliness, insecurity, status anxiety, fear of rejection. Banks do not need chains anymore. People chain themselves willingly, And once trapped, many spend their entire lives running inside a financial hamster wheel. Wake up, work, pay debt, repeat, year after year until life quietly disappears. The borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7, one sentence, yet it explains modern civilization perfectly. Because slavery today rarely looks like force. It looks like convenience. The escape. Escaping debt does not begin with money. It begins with awareness. The first step is realizing that not every desire belongs to you. Many desires were manufactured. The desire to constantly upgrade, the desire to impress strangers, the desire to appear successful instead of becoming stable. Once you understand this, consumption loses power over you. Freedom starts growing when your needs become smaller. A person who controls desires becomes difficult to manipulate, and that is dangerous for systems built on endless consumption. The truly free person is not the richest person. It is the person who needs less. Because the less you desperately need, the harder you are to control. This does not mean avoiding all loans forever. Some debt can build a business, skill, or opportunity. But there is a difference between strategic debt and emotional debt. Strategic debt creates future value. Emotional debt creates temporary pleasure and long-term suffering. One builds freedom. The other destroys it. Most people never ask a simple question before buying something. Am I purchasing this for my life or for my ego? That one question can save years of suffering. Real wealth is not expensive clothes. Real wealth is peace of mind. Real wealth is sleeping without fear. Real wealth is having the ability to walk away from toxic environments. Real wealth is owning your time. Because time is the one thing debt quietly steals the most. Real freedom. Start observing your financial habits honestly. Before buying anything, pause. Ask yourself, do I truly need this? Or am I emotionally pressured by society? Learn to delay gratification. Modern culture trains people to consume instantly, but discipline creates power. A person who can wait becomes stronger than a person controlled by impulses. Avoid lifestyle inflation. When income increases, most people immediately upgrade everything around them. Bigger expenses, bigger status symbols, bigger traps. Instead, increase your savings before increasing your lifestyle. Build an emergency fund, because desperation forces people into terrible decisions. Financial breathing room creates psychological freedom. Learn basic financial education. Schools teach people how to obey systems, but rarely teach them how money actually works. Understand interest. Understand investing. Understand how consumer psychology manipulates behavior. And most importantly, stop worshiping appearances. Some of the richest looking people are drowning silently in debt. Some of the calmest and freest people live simple lives nobody notices. The world will constantly tempt you with artificial desires. A newer car, a newer phone, a newer image. But if your happiness always depends on the next purchase, you will never escape the cycle. Because the system survives when human beings remain permanently dissatisfied. And maybe true rebellion today is not becoming richer than everyone else. Maybe true rebellion is becoming free enough that nobody can financially control your existence anymore.